All right, welcome back. Now, I'm sort of late today for today's live stream. So the notice was very short. And for some of the new followers who wonder why I produce content pretty much every day, it's because I'm running basically a news channel, right? Think of your favorite news outlets, Fox News, Roland Martin. They are producing content, news every single day. And they upload far more content, videos, than I do. Okay? This channel is mainly to deal with dog attacks. All right, shout out to Cheryl Martin in the building. Let's get into it. That old lady whose dog attacked a child, a little girl who was playing on the playground, has been arrested. I reported on this, as soon as it happened, a few hours after it happened. Also went over this case with the members and the arrest of this lady. Listen to this.
A sign at the entrance to this playground at Little Norway Park.
That sign is at the entrance. Just think the type of person, the type of character you need in order to walk through a gate like that with a pit bull. And inside of that gate is a playground for kids. I told the members, there's a strong possibility this woman was a child-hating, there's a good chance this woman was yet another child-hating dog owner, because a huge portion of dog owners hate children's guts. So if you ask me, this woman was being defiant and deliberately endangering those kids that she could have seen as despicable. I don't have to abide by any rules or laws. I'm going to show that my dog deserves to be anywhere. This is how they think. Well, I'm a responsible owner. Every single nutter on the planet refers to themselves as a responsible dog owner, yet the attacks keep going up.
A sign at the entrance to this playground at Little Norway Park clearly states no dogs allowed in. But police say it is here that a dog viciously attacked on Saturday morning, biting and dragging a child to the ground. Police say the dog's owner, 38-year-old Patricia Sierek, fled the park after the incident.
A lot of the blame is on the woman for having your dog off leash, in a
No. For having the dog in that playground, period. I don't want to hear nothing. Strike every mention of a leash off the record. Because no matter if it was on a leash or not, if it wanted to attack, it would have gotten away from that pea-brained owner.
Undesignated area.
Sierek was arrested Sunday and faces multiple charges, including criminal negligence causing bodily harm and failing to ensure a dangerous dog is muzzled at all times off the owner's property.
I don't know about y'all, and I don't know much about law, but that sounds like minor charges to me. You should be charged with assault on a minor. Yes. You should be charged with reckless endangerment, assault on a minor, and any other thing you can think of. All my law people, please help me out on that one.
Including criminal negligence causing bodily harm and failing to ensure a dangerous dog is muzzled at all times off the owner's property.
Look at how that playground is enclosed by a fence. They erect this giant fence. It looks very long. and put the dog sign, no dogs allowed. And these signs are everywhere. And this pit hag, she did that on purpose.
One of the aggravating factors would be certainly that her dog was already labeled a dangerous dog under the animals bylaw.
It was already labeled a dangerous dog. In order for that to happen, it has to violently launch unprovoked attacks on people or animals. This is the law, not me. And this hag walked in the playground anyways.
Dog under the animals bylaw.
You know if you should let your dog off lead or not, and it's your responsibility.
Here they go. They still going on about whether or not it was on a leash. Didn't y'all see her with the leash? Ain't she holding something? What are y'all talking about? You don't see that leash? But they keep bringing up a leash because they're thinking of anything. They think that because the dog ran away from her and launched an attack, that she never had a leash on it to begin with. No. Lord. Let's continue.
Under the animals bylaw.
You know if you should let your dog off lead or not, and it's your responsibility for the safety of your dog and others.
Nutter. Here's another lady who you need to beware of. You see, it said, this lady, this is a dog owner too. These people get more people hurt and killed, probably more often than the gangsters around the country people complain about so much. I know for a fact, gang members in the United States are not sending over 2,000 people to the ER every day. They are not. They're not causing bodily harm to where they need to go to the hospital to 14,000 people every single day in the United States. Gang members are not that violent.
The director of animal services for the city says currently there are 450 dogs under an active dangerous dog order. And of that total, staff estimate approximately 10% are related to a very severe injury or mauling. Court documents reviewed by Global News show the dog owner had previously been kicked out of a condo building in Etobicoke where she lived with two American pocket bullies.
Got kicked out of a condo. I told y'all, when you see these raggedy, light, out of shape ladies with big, powerful dogs, that woman is your enemy. I've covered far too many stories where the owner was a female. What are these people thinking? What make y'all think? Okay, let's continue.
He lived with two American pocket bullies, both who'd been designated dangerous by the city.
The previous dogs she had were labeled dangerous by the city. And she was permitted to move on and acquire another dog. Then that one got labeled as dangerous. This woman should be imprisoned. She's clearly a threat to the general public along with everybody else who own these things. Let's not focus too much on this lady.
One of them had been involved in a previous incident in an elevator in December of 2021 where another dog and its owner had been attacked. The issue.
Dumb old hag. Going from dog to dog to dog that attack person after person.
The issue here is that the tenants keep dogs that they do not train or control to avoid mauling people or others' pets. The dogs have been labeled dangerous by the city, yet the tenants have let the dogs roam.
No dog is trained to not attack, Nutter. None. All they need is the right trigger, and any one of them will launch an attack. They don't even need a trigger. It's just when they feel like attacking someone.
Halls.
Need to be better of keeping our dogs on leashes and,
Here they go with the leash thing again. You can't make this up. She had it on a leash. But goofy nutter owners, you're not superhuman. When that thing wants to get away from you, it will.
probably having a bit more of a handle on them.
The child who was attacked suffered serious, life-altering injuries. This father, who lives close by, says he feared this could happen.
And it happens to me many times when I walk with my children.
You see, this lady being allowed to own dog after dog, despite the fact they're launching attacks on people. This is why I don't feel sad when somebody does something to these dogs. Because it's always in self-defense. When you hear these stories, like what we went over the other day, where they found the dog shot, tied to a cinder block and thrown in the river, I don't feel bad when I hear stories like that. Because had that happened to this dog that launched this attack, guess what? It wouldn't have attacked the girl. Her life is forever ruined, right? It's impacted. Most likely lost her beauty, because kids that young, I think she's like 7 or 9, they're almost always attacked from the neck up. So yeah, it would have been better for somebody to have done something to this lady's dog before it launched the attack, and this wouldn't have happened. There ain't nothing positive that comes from dogs being in society.
I hear around this area that they leave their dogs walk freely, and some dogs are kind, but
let their dogs walk freely in a playground intended for kids. Where's the security? Why is nobody enforcing this rule? It's clearly serious enough for them to erect a gate, put all these signs up, but nobody enforces it. That's because regulations and stuff like this, nutters, they never intend to enforce anything that restricts a dog's freedom. He's a lunatic.
but others are dangerous.
The dog has been seized by Toronto Animal Services, and let me tell you about the message coming from the Toronto Humane Society about the importance of early training and
socializing the dog. Here we go from the nutters. They always reach out to nutters to hear their take. Now remember, they only recently started saying that training is necessary for a dog to not attack people. Socializing it. They only recently started saying that training is necessary. They used to say, just make sure the dog socialize. Just make sure it's socialized when it's a puppy. Now they're saying, make sure it's socialized and trained. I thought socializing them was training them. So now you got to send them through a whole training program first? How you supposed to regulate, make sure people do that? You can't. This is nonsense.
importance of early training and socialization to try and mitigate some of these more aggressive behaviors in animals.
No, you euthanize them. And we're not talking about animals here, lady. We're talking about dogs. Every single dog on this planet should be euthanized. But if the plan is to increase safety, without a doubt, start by euthanizing every bully breed and German Shepherd in the country.
And also a reminder to pet owners to please adhere to leash regulations.
Here they go. It was on a leash. Is everybody doofus? Y'all, you the ones who shared the images of this lady with the dog on a leash. What are you talking about? So if a nutter got a dog on a leash and that dog breaks free from them, you want to preach to them? You want to lecture them on how important it is to keep it on the leash? You can't keep a hold of the leash when the thing wants to attack. And we all know that.
Please adhere to leash regulations in parks like this one. And Alan, I'll let you know that in the last hour, we've seen some bylaw officers who've been walking around this park giving that kind of information to pet owners.
Pathetic. You are a pathetic society with extremely low morals, no dignity, or an embarrassment to the history of civilizations, period. A disgrace. There should be a police officer working this playground 24/7 to make sure nutters like you all don't bring no dog in there. Who wants to do playground patrol for today? Y'all know what should happen? A group of parents should take it upon themselves to guard those gates to that playground themselves. And because there is nobody guarding these playgrounds, at least during the day, that shows how pathetic and how low morals you have as a society. Shows how primitive. Y'all just slap these signs up just so you could be in line with the law. You cannot make this stuff up. Now I want to show y'all something related to this story, to this case. This is for the dog lovers out there who think that I'm harsh on dog owners, who think I go too far, that I'm too aggressive, that I'm also wishing harm. No. Dog nutters are truly brainwashed. Let's start there. The brainwashing lowers their intelligence. Already, you're dealing with a dangerous population of people. Now, this story was reported on some media outlet on Instagram. 38-year-old arrested and charged for dog attack on child at Toronto playground. Dog is seized. Look at this comment right here. And look at who left the comment. A pit nutter. Look, you see her? This is a middle-aged woman with 2 dogs. Let's look at what this nutter said in response to this story. She said, quote, "Maybe the kid approached the dog to pet him or pull his tail. I see it all too often. The dog gets scared and tries to defend himself. I feel bad for all parties in this situation. I'm sure the lady didn't mean for this to happen." She said maybe the kid approached the dog to pet him or pull its tail. She see it all too often. People, we're the only people qualified to call this woman a liar. Said she see it all the time. No, you don't. See, we know that this is ridiculous propaganda when they say that kids always provoke them. But just like I've been telling y'all, nutters believe it and regurgitate it every chance they get. This is a sick, demonic, sacrificial cult, period. That's irrefutable. And I'm willing to argue that too. Anybody want to challenge that? Any sociologist, psychologist? Knock yourself out. it's a sacrificial cult, intentional or not. And they internalize ridiculous stuff. Look at this. Look at what else she wrote. She said, "That's so sad to hear. I wonder what triggered the dog." Didn't I tell y'all that the dog owners themselves, they are completely brainwashed by this illogical propaganda put out by these trainers and behaviorists? Didn't I tell y'all that all these articles that they write, every time they get on the news and spew this talking point that when a dog attacks a child, it's always because the dog was provoked, defending itself, afraid, feeling violated? They 100% internalize that stuff and regurgitate it. That's why it's so important to debunk and challenge these trainers, behaviorists, and veterinarians. As my channels grow, I'm going to be calling out these people more and more on every single video. You're not professionals. You're not experts. You're involved in a con. Wondered what triggered the dog. Are you insane? Did you not hear the details of the story? This woman walked into a no dogs allowed area, a playground for kids, through a gate. The dog broke free and attacked. What are you talking about? You wonder what triggered the dog. What are you talking about that the kid walked up to the dog trying to pet it? It sounded like no later than she walked through the gate, the dog immediately saw a kid somewhere playing and it had to run. Goofball. The dog ran up to the kid. You see how all the facts of the story will just leave their silly, worthless brain? All the details to the story left this nutter's brain. About she wonder what triggered it. Oh, the kid might have walked up to it. No, nutter. This is why I don't like these people. I don't like them. Perpetual liars. Pathological liars. Y'all have the worst character in this country by a long shot. Despicable, dishonest, evil character. Now this story is pretty much going viral. Not only the attack, but the arrest. A lot of media outlets keeping up with this case because it's so ridiculous. Case after case after case on this part of YouTube. These people, media outlets, not just media outlets, the dog industry, the whole dog world itself. You can't ignore us forever. You're going to have to face the music. You're going to have to deal with the dog problem. Do y'all know that lady actually asked if she would get her dogs back?
Toronto police have arrested and charged a woman after her dog allegedly attacked a child at a playground over the weekend. That dog has now been seized by Toronto Animal Services. 38-year-old Patricia Ciarek of Toronto appeared from custody via Zoom at the Finch Avenue courthouse, charged with criminal negligence causing bodily harm, failure to prevent a dog from biting or attacking, dog bite to a person, allowing a dog to run at large, and failure to ensure a dangerous dog is muzzled at all times when off the owner's property.
So you see how these laws are irrelevant. Even if they pass a muzzle law that you got to have these things, the owners don't have to do it.
It's unclear if the dog was already under a dangerous dog order.
Yes, it was. Right? We just saw
Released
it.
from custody on a number of conditions, including not to own or have any animal, including dogs, and not to be within 50 meters of any park.
Do y'all really think this woman is going to never own a dog again in her raggedy, worthless life? She could probably move to a different state and still get a dog legally. She will surround herself with dogs. She can't live without dogs. No telling what she actually doing with them.
Appearing to be crying, she then asked, "So I'm not getting my dogs back?" To which the judge responded, "Were you not paying attention?" She then agreed to the conditions. The arrest follows a violent dog attack.
The judge sounds just like me when dealing with these people. Are you not paying attention? Is your brain not working? Do you have low intelligence? All of that.
Saturday morning at Little Norway Park. Police say a child and father were approaching a playground when an off-leash dog attacked the child. After it released, the suspect reportedly fled. Toronto paramedics confirm the victim is a 9-year-old boy. Investigators say they arrested Ciarek Sunday morning near Fort York Boulevard and Bathurst Street, half a kilometer from the park. She's set to appear again in court on April 8th.
And it looked like this lady had fallen at some point. She got snow from her knees down. Looked like all of this covered in snow. So, as always, off balance, dizzy, can barely stand upright.
The City of Toronto identified an increase in dog attacks last year, and last week, City Council voted unanimously to implement stricter regulations surrounding dangerous dog.
Well, you already had regulations. She didn't follow them. That's all it takes. And that all amounts to the fact they shouldn't own them. They don't have to follow your stupid laws. These are not pets. Period. These are predators. Deranged, abnormal, mutated predators. So they're worse than predators. They're worse. They're more aggressive, more unstable than predators. Look at the spineless response to stuff like this. All the excuses that are made for the dogs. CBC released an article in response to this case. A bunch of articles have been written in response or motivated by this case. This is one of the articles that they put out, and they published this yesterday. It's called or titled "Weekend Dog Attack Highlights the Need for Training." And they reached out to someone from the Nutter Society. The Nutter Society. Now, we already know what this woman had to say. I want to try to find her. I always try to reach out to people who I refute. But look at what she said. It's the usual. Early training and socialization are fundamental for all dogs to help mitigate the risk of aggressive behavior. So that means what? That they're all bad. Remember that lady from the Humane Society on my most recent live stream who said that every breed has bad dogs? Oh, yes. Shout out to whoever reminded me of their slogan that there are no bad dogs. For years, they've been saying that's one of their taglines. There are no bad dogs, only bad owners. Then she got up there and said every breed has bad dogs. So these people are proven liars. Perpetual liars. Lying is part of their culture, and they know it. Early training and socializing it, we all know that's nonsense, especially when interacting with children. Now listen to that. The dog was not interacting with this child. It saw and attacked. What are you talking about? Already, they're speaking out of line of the case. This wasn't no interaction. The interaction started with the attack. What are you talking about? They always have to spin it to say that the kid must have done something to the dog. You just heard this nutter come out and say it. And the media outlets are in line with what this nutter wrote right here. That's for all of you who thought I was too harsh a few minutes ago on this nutter. You see the media outlets that condition people like that to say that. She is not done. Now, what is her name? Here it is right here. Jacqueline Ellis, Director of Behavior at the Society. That's the Humane Society. And I'm going to briefly Google her. She has a LinkedIn. She got a Facebook. She's on video. She's everywhere. I'll find you. Look at what else she said. She said the onus is on the dog owners to make sure their dogs are trained and set up for success. Trained to not attack people. I hate how they word things. They always do it in a way to try to protect the dog's image. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and share the spelling of her name in the chat room. Shout out to everybody present. But she also said, what we like to recommend for someone. Now, this is crazy. Listen to this. She said it's helpful for people of the public to recognize when dogs are feeling anxious, fearful, or showing signs of aggression, adding that it's good to know how to de-escalate. Listen to this propaganda, these lies. This has never been done. No report has ever been put out of somebody seeing the signs before an attack and stopping it. This is a direct quote. She said, what we like to recommend is for someone to feed the bite, which is actually push against the dog's mouth, she said. She said that can throw the dog off a little bit and will prompt them to release their jaws. And that's when you can kind of try to get something between you and the dog. She's talking about what to do after attack is already underway. She's saying that to get it to release its jaws, you push against the dog's mouth. Okay, try it. Show us. Give us a demonstration. Allow a bully breed to seriously attack something and push against this mouth. Show us, giving us a demonstration of this, ma'am. Here's your experts, nutters. Told y'all, these people are not experts. These are not professionals. They're not even intelligent people. You're not intelligent pushing stuff like this. Like, is she high? Is she on drugs? You recommend for people to feed the bite? What are you talking about? Push against the dog's mouth? It'll prompt the dog to release their jaws. Then you can jump between the dog and the victim? What are you talking about? I told you, these nutters are just as dizzy as all get up. She said people could avoid, oh Lord. People should avoid running away. Again, trying their hardest to say, oh, you must have did something. Kid get attacked. Oh, what did you do? What'd you do to trigger? You pull a tail, you pull an ear, you tease. What'd you do? You did something. Oh, you ran. You got a bully breed running towards you. You talking about like an 8-year-old. And you expect them to be a tree. You can't make this up, man. I don't understand. Listen, anybody out there who can't see how much of a despicable, horrible character being put on display by these dogs, I feel sorry for you. If you can't see how despicable the character of these people is, I mean all of them, how despicable this dog culture is what I mean. Everybody that supports this culture, I'm referring to you. Saturday's incident was not the first high-profile dog attack in the city. In February, 54-year-old woman was attacked while she was waiting for a bus. Y'all remember that black lady? That was also out of Toronto. Waiting on the bus, got attacked by a mutt. And you mean to tell me these same nutters have succeeded in removing dog bans all across the country? Based on what? They still haven't proven that they are responsible dog owners. Let's see one of these hags stop a dog attack. Show us an example, nutter. If y'all so big and bad and you know so much, go ahead and give us a demonstration. Let the dog attack a stuffed animal. Get a big stuffed animal that makes noises when you touch it. And then show us your pushing skills. Go ahead and push on the dog's mouth and show us your magical powers, nutter. Cannot make this up. So I'm going to find this lady and give her a piece of my mind. Share this video with her. And I'm going to do my best to respond to any and everybody. And I'm talking about you dog trainers, you veterinarians, you dog behaviorists. I find anything that y'all put out there, I'm responding to it. Y'all deserve to be exposed. Shout out to everybody able to join me on this live stream, and I hope to see you on the next as we continue with this crusade.